Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, the good and wonderful people of the tube. Hope you are today, hope you're feeling grand and all's well in your world. My name is Dave Simpson, and welcome to another episode of How to Play Like the One, the Only, the Legend, Mr. John Frusciante, who we all love. Today, it's the start of theory-based lessons. I didn't want to start with theory straight away in this series. I wanted to kind of do a couple of other fundamental things, how to sound, you know. I wanted to teach at least one song before I got to theory, but now that's all kind of like, you know, out the way, we can focus on the theory side. And I'm going to start right at the beginning with theory. So, off the bat today, what I'm going to teach you is the 5 positions of a pentatonic scale, coming out of D minor, the key of D minor, which is one of John's kind of favourite preferred keys. So I'm going to teach you all the shapes from there all the way down to here, to hopefully, you know, give you a better understanding and unlock the neck for you, like, you know, so it's just a bit easier, so you can look at the neck and not be like, where do I go? You know, and it'll also give you a better understanding of soloing, because I personally believe that learning the 5 positions of a pentatonic scale is the most important thing you'll ever learn on guitar if you want to solo and understand soloing. It's just, you know, one of the most important things, especially position 1, which is a major scale, and position 5, which is the minor scale, which I thought was always a bit balmy because guitarists use the minor scale, which I would class as position 1. But anyway, enough of that weirdness. We're going to talk about those scales. Also, at the end of the video, I want to talk about something quickly. People are still having trouble with the Ibanez Wah and the DS2's boost. So I want to talk about that again, and I also want to give you my top pedals to sound like John, bar none, kind of, you know what I mean. So that's at the end of the video, but first off, let's talk about pentatonic scales, 5 positions, starting at the 1st fret, 1st position, going all the way down to the, where are we, what's that, 20th fret on your high E and low E. So basically you'll have all that to play with, and you can also bend up the last one a tone if you don't, you know, forget the last fret. Okay, anyway, enough of that malarkey. Let's get into showing you the scales. Okie dokie, so let's start with position 1 of the 5 positions of a pentatonic scale. And the first scale is a major scale, so we start in F major. And I'm going to talk at the end of this scale thing about relative major and minor as well, and I'll keep reiterating that throughout the thingy, throughout the the theory series. But first off, this is the scale I want to teach you. So this is an F major pentatonic scale. So first note is 1st fret on the low E. Then you go to the 3rd fret low E, open string A, 3rd fret A, open string D, 3rd fret D, open string G, 2nd fret G, 1st fret B, 3rd fret B, 1st fret high E, and 3rd fret high E. So I'll run it really slow. I'll try and do it Django Reinhardt style, so my other fingers don't get in the way and create this massive fingers and face hugger. Calm down, Dave. It's only the major scale. Okay, so I'll do it with one finger. So that's that, and descending, same thing. Oh. Okay, so that's position 1 of your pentatonic scales coming out of D minor. So if you're playing, for instance, scar tissue, and the solo bit is... all these notes will work. you can, you know, hear, and there's no kind of context there or backing, but you can kind of hear those melodies. So that's position 1. Moving to position 2 now. Okay, so second position, pentatonic scales coming out of D minor. Start on 3rd fret on the low E, 5th fret low E, 3rd fret A, 5th fret A, 3rd fret D, 5th fret D, moving up to the 2nd fret G, 5th fret G, 3rd fret B, 6th fret B, high E string 3rd fret, and high E string 5th fret to finish. And then same thing down. And this shape feels really nice under the fingers. I don't know why, but it just feels really nice. So, really slow. And then descending. Okay, so that's the second position, and you can see when you get the major scale on the first couple of frets combined with this scale, you can see how they click together. Like the whole guitar neck is a jigsaw puzzle, basically. It's just about memorizing the right pieces and fitting it together. And you can see, after you get these two scales together, how they clip together and how the kind of front side of this second position is the back side of the major scale. I hope that makes sense. So that's the first position, that's the second. Move on to the third position now. Okay, so third position now. We start on the 5th fret low E, up to the 8th fret low E, A string 5th fret, 8th fret A string, 5th fret on the D, 7th fret D, 5th fret on the G, 7th fret G, then we go to the 6th fret on the B, 8th fret B, then we go to the 5th fret on the high E, I'll finish up on the 8th on the high E. So, almost a pentatonic shape, but basically the B string, you're up 1 fret to there. So, really slow now with one finger, starting on the 5th fret low E. And descending. Okay, so that's that position 3. I say it's pretty much a pentatonic scale, apart from that note and that note. Okay, so that's position 3. Position 4 now, which is my favourite position. I don't know. Well, next to the obviously position 5, which is a minor scale, but I like the shape of this one. I don't know why. So we're starting off on the 8th fret on the low E, 10th fret low E, 8th fret A, 10th fret A. Moving on to the 7th fret on the D, 10th fret D, 7th fret G, 10th fret G, B string 8th fret, B string 10th fret, high E string 8th fret, and 10th fret high E. got a very musical sound to it, this position 4. So really slow now with one finger, starting on 8th fret low E. And descending. And you can hear that scale wants to resolve to the D note, which is 10th fret low E. So if I run that scale again, so the D minor nicely resolves that scale. So that's position 4. Position 5 is the one that you should all know. It's the minor pentatonic, the working rock guitarist, blues guitarist's perfect scale. So starting on the 10th fret on the low E, 13th fret low E, 10th fret A, 12th fret A, D string 10th fret, D string 12th fret, G string 10th fret, G string 12th fret, B string 10th, B string 13th, high E string 10th, and high E string 13. And descending. And going back up. This scale is a friend to us all. This is our most favourite scale, and it's the scale that we would all marry if we could. That's just weird, Dave. I don't know where that came from, but you know what I mean. It is the scale to work solos from. So, one finger now really slow. So on the 10th fret, there we and descending. Okay, so that's the first 5 positions of a pentatonic scale, and that's kind of like the core of learning to understand and make your own solos and improvisation and all that kind of stuff, especially in rock, blues, reggae, punk, whatever. Those 5 positions are the keys to kind of creating your own solos and understanding guitar solos. So once you get to technically the 13th fret, which is kind of the backside of your minor pentatonic, the scales just repeat. So if you know those 5 positions up to the 13th fret in D minor up here, you know them down here. It's just a mirror image. The guitar is just a mirror image. We only have 12 notes on the entire guitar. Regardless of how many strings, regardless of your tunings, regardless of whatever, you only ever have 12 notes, and you can't use all those 12 notes at a time because they don't fit into the key, which is a really strange thing when you think about it. So, starting off again, technically now the 12th fret becomes the nut. So, starting off with F major pentatonic scale, we're starting at the 13th fret on the low E, 15th fret low E, 12th fret now, instead of an open string, we're playing the 12th fret, which is technically the open string. 12th fret on the A, 15th fret A, 12th fret D, 15th fret D, 12th fret on the G string, 14th fret G string, and then we go down to the 13th fret on the B, on the high B. Technically it's a high B. And then the 15th fret B, high E string 13th, and finishing up on the 15th on the high E. And then descending. Going back up. And it's the exact same shape, just without the open strings. It's just an octave higher, that's all it is. It's just your F major, same shape, just down here. So, and that's kind of another side of John's soloing. You can, again, if you hear those scar tissue kind of solos, I'll try and give it context. You can hear that's just using the F major pentatonic, and it's the first solo in Slane Castle of Scar Tissue. Apart from you bending out. You know, that's just pentatonic. It's just F major pentatonic. So that's first position down here now in basically a second position of the first position. I hope that makes sense. I don't want to get like too silly about it, but it's basically just an octave higher. So F major here, F major down here. So now moving to position 2 of the pentatonic scales, coming out of D minor onto the dusty end of the neck. Okay, so position 2 now in the next octave higher starts off on the 15th fret, low E, 17th fret low E, 15th fret A, 17th fret A, 15th fret D, 17th fret D, then you go up to the 14th fret on the G, where are we? 17th fret G, I'm not very good with numbers, 15th fret B, and then 18th fret on the B, high E now on the 15th, and high E on the, where are we? 17th. I can't count! Okay, really slow, one finger. And descending. Okay, so that's the second position of the pentatonic scales, a next octave higher now. So instead of playing it here, you're playing it here. And I can only go one more position now because I'm limited by my frets. So the next position, the third position of a pentatonic scale, is as high as I can go, next octave higher. So starting out on the 15th fret, and I'm going to get really muddled here with numbers on frets, so please bear with me. I might end up saying that one because I'll just despair and just, like, you know, want to go and cry in bed and eat chocolate. Anyway, starting off on the 17th fret on the low E, going up to the, where are we, 18, 19, 20, 20th fret on the low E, then the same thing again on the A, so 17th fret A, 20th fret A, 17th fret D, 19th fret D, and then you got the 17th fret G, 19th fret G, then the 18th fret B, 20th fret B, 17th fret high E, and 20th fret high E. So what, really slow, one fingered, starting off on the 17th fret on the low E. Numbers are so difficult to me. The perils of being dyslexic, I tells you. Okay, so starting out on the 17th. And descending. Okay, and that's it. That's the 5 positions of a pentatonic scale from 1st fret down to your 20th fret, because you can't go any higher. This scale, your 3rd position, next octave higher, you can bend the 20th fret a tone up. On the high E, you can bend the B string a tone up on the high E. You can actually go to the 21st fret if you want to on the G, because that's the front side of position 4. But anyway, that's getting confusing now. Stick to that. So once you get these shapes into your hand, just run them as many times as you need to, so they stick in your head. So you can just go. Oh. Not like that, because that was rubbish. And once you get all those scales under your fingers, that fret with your open strings to this fret is now unlocked for you to do whatever you want with it. You'll know where the notes are in D minor. So if somebody says do a solo in D minor, you'll know how to do a solo. You know what notes you can use. Then it's just about finding melodic phrases, and especially certain notes that John uses, like. That's the Californication jam. I do apologise for the noise outside, it is a building site. That's the intro to Californication from St. Castle, but I've moved it into D minor. But again, that's another story for another time. But so just run those scales, just really nice and slow to start with until you get them under your fingers. So literally start out with a tempo. I don't recommend using a metronome, because if you do, it can make you hurry, it can make you rush, it can make you freak out, and you can mess up and it won't stick in your head. So just go at your own pace and gradually build up the speed. Do not rush. There is no point in rushing. You're not going to learn anything if you rush. Take your time. It will take time. Once you get there, it's worth it. So just, nice and slow, like. Descending if you want. I'm just doing, in the interest of time, just going up, just to make it a bit quicker. And you can descend them, like I say, if you want. If you know it ascending, you don't really need to descend it because you know it. I've never really understood, the whole thing of ascending and descending, really. Thought I'd do it, but just, if you know it one way, you know it both ways. And then you can go down your scales, so on and so forth, all the way back down again and all the way up. So, until you basically create this map. And I say, with learning these shapes, you will see how they all click together. The back end of one scale is the front end of the one after it. So the back end of position 1 is the front end of position 2. The back end of position 2 is the front end of position 3, and so on and so forth. And I do always find it funny they call major scale position 1 as being you know, rock, blues, whatever, funk guitarists mainly use pentatonic, minor pentatonic mostly, which technically I would call position 1, but it's position 5 in theoretical terms. But again, it's a bit balmy, that is, and I don't really understand it, and I don't really agree with it. But that's the positions of pentatonic scale in D minor. So go away, practice them at your own, you know, pace. Do not rush. Let it really sink into your brain. Let your brain retain these shapes and where these notes are, so you can literally at a moment's notice just go, I don't know, let's do something Johnny. A couple of notes there, but anyway, but you know the idea. You kind of get that kind of thing, and you can kind of like, you know, incorporate into kind of like, you know, you can kind of incorporate into this kind of funk thing. So I'm just using minor and major pentatonics there, and I'm going down to, like, you know, position 3, and all sorts of stuff. So, you know, just run those scales, get them into your head, start messing around with them. You know, all of a sudden solos like Scar Tissue will come clear of the notes, because they all come out of D minor. You know, all like those really lovely slide solos that John did on the original, it'll all come clear once you get these shapes under your finger, and they are paramount. I can't stress the 5 positions of the pentatonic scale enough if you want to learn to solo and you want to understand soloing. So that's that. That's the start of a theory. I'm going to go on to a bit more depth next week. I'm hopefully going to do one of these every week now. So, you know, until I've kind of like covered all the theory basics. So hopefully it'll be at some point next week I'll do another one of these. I'm going to talk about major scales in their entirety. You know, not just pentatonics, the whole, you know, whole 8-note thing, and also kind of like starting to build up some of the John phrasing, so to say. So that's that for now. I just want to quickly talk about the DS2 and the Ibanez Wah boost thing, and, you know, my top pedals to sound like John. But I hope this has been informative, this section, and you know, just go away and noodle. All I can say, really. So let me move on to the less theoretical stuff. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that first section, you know, about the 5 position pentatonic scale. It's so important to know those positions, learn them to the point where your brain retains them, so it's just second nature. It's just so important. So, moving on to the DS2 and the Ibanez Wah boost problems, because, you know, as you know, I have mine flat out. I have the Ibanez Wah and the DS2 just flat out. I don't, and from what I've seen of John's, very grainy pictures, but you can kind of tell he has them pretty much that way as well. And people are still having issues with that whole volume boost. So what I've got done here, I'm on my dirty channel, the CR120, and I've got my I've got the EQ set, channel volumes on 10, no treble, the mid's on 1. That's my phone. I do apologise. It might go off again in a minute if it's his YouTube comment. Middle's on 1, bass is on 2, and I've got the gain down at 2 o'clock. 2, sorry. So it's super clean. Crank the volume of the amp to 4, but hopefully this kind of thing, if I now press my DS2 on, I'll get that horrible boost that most of you talk about. Yeah, where it's just, and that's the same with DS2, the Ibanez Wah, where it's just rubbish, basically. It doesn't sound anything like John, and it's just rubbish. So, now if I put my master volume down to 2, now if I increase the gain on the amplifier to, I have mine at 3.5. Every amp will be different. You'll have to find where the gain is. So now my guitar sounds like this. You could say it doesn't sound a great deal different, but if I engage the DS2, go to a bridge pickup. There is no massive volume boost. I love that. When you turn it on me, you get feedback. And the same thing with the Ibanez Wah. If I turn the Ibanez Wah on now, you're always going to get a bit of boost with the Ibanez wah because it's got gain inbuilt, but not, you know, it's not horrendous. You know, so what I would say is, if your amp is still, if the DS2 and the Ibanez wah are still absolutely, I'm gonna kill you, then your gain isn't high enough because your amp isn't compressing enough. It's not creating that kind of nice. You know, it's not creating that kind of real cool John Funk thing. Another thing I want to talk about, which I forgot to say, is the importance of your pickups as well. And I'm going to do a close-up of that in a sec, because that's important. The height of your pickups is very important for playing like John. So that's that. If it's still blaring out, your gain is just not high enough. And if your amp starts to distort massively, then I would get an overdrive pedal and use an overdrive pedal instead, because because certain amps might not do this. They just might not. I mean, I've played with a couple of amps that won't do this, especially modern sounding amps. They won't kind of get this kind of sound. So that's kind of that really. So just mess with your gain until it sounds right. If it's too much, get an overdrive pedal. I can highly recommend the Tone City Golden Plexi. It's the sound. It's John in a box. John's clean sound in a box. That's what I use on my main board. It's replaced my Ibanez Tube Screamer. Tube Screamer's a good pedal as well for that, but it's a little bit too bright. Boss overdrives are a good alternative as well. What else? Anything that gives you a nice kind of cleany crunch, so I'd say. But I'd say the Tone City Golden Plexi, I cannot say enough good things about that pedal for getting John's sound. So hopefully that covers that a little bit more. And I say, hopefully it kind of shows that, if you don't have the gain right, it will scream at you. So that's that. Move on to the next thing now. Okay, so pickup height is really important, really, to kind of get the kind of right kind of John sound. So this is where I've got my net pickup, and John on his 62, the net pickup was always super low, so you can see how low my net pickup is. It's almost flush with the scratch plate. It's literally. Excuse me. It's like 1.5 millimeters, if that. It's probably more like 1 millimeter high off the scratch plate. So that's where your neck pickup wants to be, because it wants to be lower, and there's a big distance off the string. You can see I can barely get to it, but this makes the neck pickup cleaner. So you can have that more distorted amp, but your neck pickup is a lot cleaner. So that's kind of where you want your neck pickup. Middle pickup is just kind of a nice kind of like Oh yeah, and also, just so you know, they're not angled, they're flat straight across, so they're not kind of like tilted in any way. The neck pickup isn't anyway. Same thing with the middle pickup, not angled, just about 2 millimeters, give or take, on each side. You don't use the middle pickup a great deal, so it's not as important. Bridge pickup now. This wants to be fairly high, so I've got this about good 3 millimeters high on the bass side, and about 3.5 on the treble side. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it angles up slightly towards the trebles, the higher strings. So basically, the bridge pickup will give you more output than the neck. So the neck's super clean, bridge has got a little bit more poke. So that's kind of important to have your pickup set that way. So so that's that. So hopefully that's kind of a little bit more insightful into that. And let me talk about pedals now. The pedals you need to sound like John. Okay, I hope that kind of clears some things up about pickup height as well. Now, how that is important with John's sound, so you can kind of get like that more distorted. I really need to change the strings on this guitar. At your back pickup, and when you switch to your neck, because it's lower, it's cleaner. So I hope that makes sense there. I hope that helps you kind of like, get closer to the John sound that we all love, because it is a gorgeous sound. I absolutely adore it. I've been fascinated by it from day one of playing guitar. So, I want to talk about pedals now and what my main pedals are, because I get a lot of people asking, will this work, will this work, will this work? Yes, to an extent. But, at the end of the day, you need a chorus pedal that does a nice kind of chorusy sound, like... It's a real nice kind of warbly kind of chorus sound. An overdrive, if your amp... Sorry, I do apologise about my phone dinging again. I forgot to put it on silent. That's a comment, so whoever commented now, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Unless it's a troll comment, in which case you will be deleted later on. Because I ain't got time for that negativity in my life. Anyway, back to pedals. Where was I? Yeah, so chorus pedal, and I'm going to go order as well. So chorus pedal, amp, chorus pedal, delay. If you want it, I've got a Zoom G2 multi effects, so I've got a delay built in. Zoom in. You know, don't forget anything. So chorus pedal, delay. Then after that, if you want, and I say if your amp doesn't do the John overdrive thing from your amp, that's where you want your overdrive / kind of clean sound, and that, you know, that'd be a pedal that's on all the time, because that's where, you know, that's where I find it works. That's where my golden plexi is. Golden City, amazing. But yeah, that's where that is. So chorus, delay, overdrive. It's always good to have one anyway. I've got one. I've got the Corn Star by Green Carrot Pedals, and I just, if I put chorus on it, just sounds like something I kiss. You know, from off the map era, if you will. So yeah, chorus, delay, overdrive. Ibanez wah is a must. And I'm really annoyed that Ibanez have discontinued it again. So you have to pay through the teeth for them now on eBay if you can find one. It's, you know, they're ridiculously expensive now because you can't come across them. I had two and I sold one, and I'm annoyed that I sold the other one. The things you do when you need money. But I'm glad I've still got one, but if this breaks, I'm going to be crying in a corner. But the Ibanez wah is the ultimate. If you haven't got an Ibanez wah and you can't get one, because like I say, they are silly expensive now, a Vox wah, the numbers are 847, I think. I don't know, it's a cheap one. It's a silver-topped wah. That's the best one I've found to create that. And what you do is you basically, every time you use it to get the... You just run an overdrive before it. So on the left side of the pedal, going into the input of the pedal. So, you know, that's where your overdrive can come in handy again if you've got, like, say, a tone city, because you can just boost the gain, and it'll give you that... You know, it'll give you a bit more, your wah a bit more kind of oomph, so to say, and it'll just boost it a little bit more. Not tons of gain, just enough. So, that's what you can do if you can't get an Ibanez wah, but they are a fundamental of John's sound. And the most important distortion pedal of all time, if you want to sound like John, is the Boss DS2. The turbo distortion is inexpensive. If you want John's solo tone, you just need a DS2. Set on the turbo mode, maxed out. It's just his sound. And I feel, because it does sound a bit fuzzy, people get confused with him using his big muff. Not necessarily so. The DS2, when you run it through a semi-distorted, like cleanish distorted amp, sounds fuzzy. So if you do that kind of intro to that Sigali thing, you know, that's not a fuzz pedal, that's the DS2, and if you put it to net pickup, it does sound fuzzy. But you know, the DS2 is a must. So, and that wants to be literally right before your guitar. As for pedals you don't need, MXR micro amp is, you can have it or you don't need it. John did the entire Californication tour without it, so it's, and he only ever, just because it's there doesn't mean he used it. He only ever used it now and again. Same with the big muff. It's not a need. If you've got a fuzz pedal, shove it in after your DS2. That's kind of important. It has to be after the DS2. So basically, you know, order would be chorus, delay, overdrive, wah, DS2, fuzz, and then your guitar. And if you've got an MXR and you want to use the MXR clean boost, that wants to be before your DS2. So that'd be wah, MXR, DS2, big muff, guitar. But as I say, bare bones, chorus, delay, wah, overdrive, wah, DS2. Boom. That's all you need. I know I said boom, that's really weird, I don't know, that's strange. Anyway, they're the kind of like, no, they're the key pedals. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this lesson. I hope it's covered a few more little bits and pieces. If you have any more questions, you know, leave them in the comment section below, and I'll try and get to reply to them when I get a chance. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this. Go away and learn those 5 positions of a pentatonic scale now. I'm telling you, I'll be coming to check on you periodically. I know where all you live, and you'll hear me knocking at the door, and I will knock at the door, you'll open the door, and I'll be stood there going, so, what's position 4? And if you haven't got your guitar, just show me the, you know, air guitar it. Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm warning you now, I'm coming to your house. Okay, without further ado, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again very, very soon for another video. And I say next week, I'll do another one of these, another theory-based one, so...
Wow.